Can anyone turn their backyard into a six-figure business?
It sounds crazy, but 2 hours of work can make you $2,000 every weekend, brother.
What exactly is this business? Is it something you and I can do, or is it simply too good to be true?
No matter where you are, all you need is a water bottle and a handful of rocks to get you started.
I came to the Arizona desert to uncover the NASA secret turning backyards into gold mines.
We started off with $45 and a prayer. Seriously, guys, nothing. We had nothing. So we're bringing a little bit of the space technology to your very backyard. The average turnip plant makes 10 bags selling for $10 to $20 a piece. That's 5 cents worth of seed that can turn into $200 profit. To build this system at home is about $45. This sells for roughly $800.
Whoa.
If you have a passion for gardening and you know not to stick the seed up your nose, guess what? You can grow with our system, guaranteed.
All right, Charles, before we dive into the details of your background, give our audience an idea on what you do here and maybe a bird's eye view of what this business is really all about.
We're the leaders in sustainable gardening, and I am a sustainable gardening solution specialist. What we do is
fancy.
Yeah, but what we do is it's very simple. We take the concept of sustainable gardening and we fit it specifically to you and to your needs at your house or at your business.
Tell me more a little bit about that, especially for somebody who doesn't know some of those terminologies or words like sustainable gardening. I mean,
sustainable gardening is gardening where it has low impact on the land, on the community, as well as it's really easy for you to do it and easy for you to maintain. Some examples of sustainable gardening would be hydroponics, aquaponics, and aeroponics.
Wow. So some of the things that we'll talk about here today, NASA's implementing similar techniques.
You notice there's in our systems you won't see much algae because we actually use a UV technology to keep our water algae free and bacteria free. Low water usage, recyclable water as if we're using in our systems.
Wow,
that's one of the techniques that we implement in the Artemis mission as well. So we're bringing a little bit of the space technology to your very backyard.
That's so cool. Well, tell our audience what we're looking at here specifically. What's unique about this setup?
This is our 3 by 3 foot hydroponic tray system, and it's a sustainable gardening, so this can be converted to hydroponics or aquaponics. You'll notice, guys, there's no dirt used in this system at all. We use 3 1/4 inch scoria lava rock because it's a good substrate to hold on to the nutrient solution that's flowing through the system.
What's the difference between aqua hydra for somebody that doesn't know?
Very good question. Aqua is implementing fish. So we'll actually be using fish waste to provide nutrients for the plants and for the roots.
It refers to how the plants are eating?
Yes.
Aqua versus hydra?
Yes, how we actually provide the nutrients to them. Okay. One is fish-based, another one is natural minerals and nutrient-based like we're using in the system here for hydroponics.
This is hydroponics, okay.
Yes, sir.
So what do you want our audience to take away from your story?
That you can do it, that you can grow, that you can provide for yourself. You guys can do this. It's so much more than nutrition. It's feeding the mind, it's feeding the body, it's feeding the soul.
If I don't have a backyard and I live in a condo on the 50th floor or something, can I still do this on the inside of my living room or kitchen?
In this case, this tray system might not work for you, but I bet you we have a system that we designed that'll work just for you. That'll be perfect.
And what do you call that?
We call that our Brooklyn Bridge system. It's a 21 port system. You want to go take a look at it?
Absolutely. Let's go check it out.
Let's go.
Sweet. So this must be the Brooklyn Bridge. It looks like a bridge.
Yes, sir.
So what are we growing here right now?
We have about 7 different garden greens in here. That's about a week and a half pure root growth. So when this plant actually went in the system, there was no visible root growth here. Because of the efficiency of our sustainable gardening system, the plants can actually absorb up to 10 times more nutrients than they would in a traditional gardening. Therefore, it accelerates plant and root growth. So this is about a week and a half. And for plant aficionados and plant fans out there, they're looking at these white roots and they're like, oh my goodness, that is gorgeous.
Yeah,
well, this is sustainable gardening.
This is healthy guy.
So
let's talk about cost. I mean, if I wanted to get going and get this, obviously the idea is to start a business out of it, right?
Exactly.
This is what we're here to talk about and understand how scalable is this. So cost-wise for startup, what's the story for you?
Depending on the system, but initially for gardening in general, $50.
That's it, pretty much zero.
Guys, listen, my wife actually found a 5-gallon fish tank on the side of the road, and that started this entire adventure.
That's it?
That's it.
What the story?
A $5 fish tank and 2 $3 goldfish, and here we are today.
And so as far as systems to start with, what's your advice?
Oh, my advice would always be a tunnel system. We'll actually show you guys how you can go to your local big box store. You can actually pick up the materials to make this at your own house. Maybe $30 in materials, and within 8 weeks, you can start turning a profit off your sustainable gardening system.
If I started from scratch, clearly the startup cost is almost minimal.
Yes, sir.
How quickly can I turn a profit then?
Honestly, it would depend on what type of plant you're growing. Say, for example, lettuce, salad greens. Within 8 weeks from the time you put that seed in that system, you'll be selling lettuce greens, you'll be selling salad greens.
Now, as compared to the traditional gardening, how much slower is that compared to 8 weeks?
In a traditional gardening, you're looking at maybe 12 to 16 weeks before you're even able to have a viable enough of that lettuce crop to even take to the market. Also, with traditional gardening, in that one spot where you grow that one head of lettuce, that's all you're going to get from that one spot. Well, in sustainable gardening, that one head of lettuce that you're actually growing is going to provide between 7 to 14 heads of lettuce worth of leaves. See, that's the beauty to sustainable gardening. You cultivate and you continue to let it grow. And one head of lettuce can produce 4 salads at least a week.
Why would somebody use the Brooklyn system over any other systems out there? What are the benefits of it?
Well, it's all about space. The Brooklyn Blitz system can easily be installed indoors or outdoors. It can be on a floor platform, or it can easily be installed up against your wall. We even have another system that you guys might be interested in, and that's our living wall system.
I realize you can't really grow carrots or beets or anything else in this system, right?
That is true. Although, remember that first system we saw, the tray system? You can grow root vegetables in the tray system. Because
no soil, just the same
soil. No soil.
That's
Either
hard.
we'll use lava rocks or we'll use clay balls or a mixture of the two. It's amazing what plants can do.
So what are the benefits of the living wall system behind us right there? Obviously space is one of them, I would imagine, right?
Space, variety, especially the biggest one is the health benefits. That 64-port system actually cleanses the air in a 250 square foot room 5 times a day. So if you have breathing problems or anything of that nature, not only is it beautiful to look at, but it also helps you breathe.
So what would it cost me to get this living wall set up at home? And in terms of profit, what should I expect? What does it depend on?
Well, there are 2 ways to look at profit from this system. But to answer your first question, to build this system at home is about $45. $45 in materials that you could get from a box store. To sell this system, this sells for roughly $800.
Whoa.
Yes.
Quite the profit margin there.
Well, it takes about 20 minutes to put this system together. A typical living wall system sells for about $50 to $250 per square foot, depending on the materials needed. Say, for instance, if you wanted to sell vegetables, in 8 weeks, each one of these is producing a salad. Those salads sell for $4 to $5 a piece. That's 64 salads. But you're not just looking at one salad from each plant, because within that given week, each one of these is going to produce at least 3 salads. So that's 64 times 3 times $5. That's what you're going to get from produce off of this alone within the first 8 to 12 weeks.
Let's say one of our viewers wanted to replicate your success and get into this business. How much time per week would they need to commit to this venture?
Well, initially, you're looking at a couple of weekends in a row just to get to know how your system works. But after that, the beauty to a sustainable system is it sustains itself. It keeps running. When I say 2 hours a week to take care of it, that's if you're cultivating and harvesting. That's if you have a large system set up. But usually, how long would it take you to go out there and just pick a salad from the system? That's how long it takes you to manage it.
Yeah, wow.
So you're talking about seconds, just a few minutes, that's it.
That's amazing. And as far as profit, 2 hours can what, turn into potentially two grand a weekend?
2 grand a weekend easily. If you're selling the system itself, you're walking into that location with 2 grand already in your pocket, just in pre-orders.
System, right?
Yes.
But if it's lettuce, you'd have to do a lot more lettuce than that.
Well, you're going to do a lot more lettuce than that. Here's the beauty though, and I hope everyone's really following this. Get to know your community. You can always provide these greens, these leafy greens, to your local grocer. You can always provide them to your local restaurants. They're always looking for easy access to locally sourced goods. They don't want to pay the shipping costs. They'd rather get it from you.
This is inspirational in the sense that you can grow anything.
It's bringing all of us together. There's power in community, and there's community in a garden.
That's amazing.
If you guys got a second, I'd love to bring you inside so you can see how this process actually happens.
Absolutely. I'll follow you.
Let's go, guys.
So this is what you call the production center.
Yes, sir. This is the Think Center right here.
The Think Center, okay. For somebody with a sustainable garden, where do I find my first customer?
Your neighbor. Literally knock on your neighbor's door, tell them what you have available. In our little neighborhood that we have here, we have people that provide eggs, we have people that provide fruit and vegetables, we have people with small orchards in their backyard. We all contribute to each other. The thing is, if we didn't knock on that door, we wouldn't know that we had all of this to help. Where I came from, we literally did not have that. We were products of a construct of a place where we had food deserts. It's 2024 and kids are still suffering from food deserts. Our whole purpose with Together We Grow is to eradicate food deserts. If you can't get to a grocery store because you can't afford gas or you don't have a car, why don't you replace the grocery store with one of those systems in your yard? So you may say to yourself, well, that's just me, I'm just one person. What can I do? Well, it's not just you. If you and the other 4 people that are living right around you in a community or in a neighborhood, not only are you providing excess of vegetables and foods, but you're actually providing a financial resource to your community and your neighborhood. You're bringing money back into your community. Plant that first seed so that together we grow now.
You don't have to own an orchard to know that your business's success depends on your ability to plan for the future. But with data from HR, inventory, finances, etc., it can be hard to answer key questions. Will rates rise or fall? What will profits look like next quarter? Do we need to hire? But with NetSuite by Oracle, you don't have to pick and choose. NetSuite is the #1 cloud business management software designed to give you real-time insights into your financials, inventory, and operations so you have the tools to take charge of your future. It's why over 40,000 businesses have used NetSuite to eliminate guesswork and get a clear view of what's coming next. If I needed to know which parts of my business are ripe and which are rotten, then this is the product I'd use. Whether your company's earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you respond to immediate challenges and seize your biggest opportunities. Speaking of opportunity, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/upflip. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/upflip, netsuite.com/upflip. It's time with Charles. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. What's one gardening myth you'd love to debunk?
That you need soil to grow.
All right, what's your favorite thing to grow and why?
Tomatoes, because they're delicious and they're easy.
Absolutely, love them. What's your least favorite thing to grow and why?
Spinach, because I've never done it successfully.
How does it feel going from buying 75-cent rotten apples to where you are today?
It feels like heaven. It feels amazing. Wow, what a great question.
How many hours per day do you dedicate to your business, and has this changed over time?
Maybe an hour in the morning, but depending on what I'm doing in the yard, up to 4 or 5 hours a day. But it's all joy. That's the whole thing. It's never anything upsetting. It's always pleasure. It's always fun.
That's awesome. Can you tell us about your first sale?
It was on Facebook Marketplace, and it was actually a used hydroponic system that I had first gotten. I learned how to use it, and then I resold it.
Wow.
I bought it for $50 and sold it for $20.
Why do you
I was an awful business person.
Lesson learned. Why do you always have a smile on your face is the question.
Because I've been given that next breath, and why not be happy about it? I got a dog named Einstein and Newton. It's the worst names for them because they're not smart like that, but they're the absolute greatest things on the planet. And darn it, I get to wake up every day and hang with those little misfits. What not to smile about, brother?
All right, last one. What vegetable from your garden do you eat the most?
Broccoli. Broccoli is easy, it grows really fast, and the broccoli that we grow out there, it actually is called stir-fry broccoli, so you don't just get one big head, you get that one big head, and then you get like 100 shoots off from the side. Nice. So you get to walk out there, just snap,
Put
get to eat it fresh,
oil,
you get, my boy, see what I'm saying?
Pepper,
my
some
God,
salt.
It's so versatile, it's incredibly nutritious, and it's right there. It's readily available.
You touched on it a little bit, but I want to elaborate more on your upbringing and how that influenced your approach to business.
We grew up in a ghetto, so we didn't have much. We had community and we had family. I was raised by a single mom, very supportive matriarch family, so frugality was everything. You had to stretch every single penny. And just watching my grandmother struggle, watching her pull herself up from a bootstrap, she went from being second generation of sharecropper to actually being a school teacher to getting her master's degree. And I got to watch this. Imagine her surprise when I actually got into gardening and it actually started turning a profit. She couldn't be happier.
Well, where are you taking us next? I know we've seen everything that takes place at your property here. Give us a little insight where we're going.
We're going to be heading over to Tucson Village Farm.
Awesome. Let's hop in the cars to get over there.
You got it.
Well, this place is pretty impressive. I'm sure it gets fuller and busier What, later on in the year at a different time or something?
It sure does. This is an all-year nursery, and this is actually home of their aquaponics and their hydroponics sustainable gardening systems.
How are you involved with them? Helping with the design of the aquaponics?
We were able, Together We Grow, my company, we were fortunate and lucky enough to work alongside with the kids from the 4-H extensive program to develop and to design their very own aquaponic and their sustainable hydroponic systems.
Is this your way of giving back to the community, or is this how you generate revenue as a business, quote unquote, as well?
This is absolutely volunteer from Together We Grow. We may not be able to give them a plate of food, but we can give them a seed of knowledge, and that seed of knowledge can provide countless plates of food for the rest of their lives.
Launching this business changed Charles's life. Now it's your turn. Whether you're still looking for that next perfect business idea or have a business that you already want to pursue, UpFlip's quiz creates a personalized 10-day launch plan curated to your personality, passion, and situation. So hit that link in the description below and launch your business in the next 10 days, guaranteed. That's a good segue into the idea that farming is all about passing the wisdom, the information, the knowledge, right? What's one business advice that you've received that's been pivotal to you?
That no matter what it is that you create, no matter what the product is that you're selling, the ultimate product is yourself. If you don't truly believe in whatever it is that you're developing, whatever it is that your business structure is, if you don't believe in it, the business is not going to survive. It's not going to excel. Believe in yourself and you'll believe in that business first and foremost.
What advice do you have for entrepreneurs experiencing self-doubt?
We're going right back to Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming, don't stop believing. I know it sounds like I'm just quoting rock songs and movies, but literally you have to focus on the prize, and the prize is your dream. This thing that you're creating, this is in essence a piece of you. And if you don't believe in that, no one else will. Sometimes only you can see the light because you're the only eyes that are looking at it. Until you can see it, no one else is going to realize it. So never stop believing in yourself. Stay focused. Don't try to achieve everything at once. Make focal points, and those focal points will lead to your eventual goal. You know, when you get through that wave, when you get through that wake, when you're looking back at that shore, when you're relaxing and you're just sitting there floating, you're just enjoying it, you understand and you appreciate that struggle that you just went through. Success isn't that dollar sign. Success is actually acknowledging and appreciating that journey that got you there.
Did you always have a green thumb? Like, were you always good at gardening?
Absolutely not. I was the absolute worst. I couldn't grow old in the old folks' home if I tried. I couldn't grow anything. As a matter of fact, I believe the water department actually came to my house because they thought I had a leaky pipe, but I was just overwatering dirt, and that's how bad it was.
What's really cool about this place is for you to start with the seed, grow the actual produce, the vegetables, and then you know what happens? Well, the food is prepared right there in the kitchen. So let's go show them and let's go take a look.
I can't wait to show you guys. Let's go.
Sweet. We're now in the kitchen that's cooking. Tell us why this is a big deal and how does it connect to aquaponics in general?
Well, I'm glad you asked, guys. This is actually the Angel Charity for Kids Culinary Education Center. So everything that you saw in the nursery and everything that they'll be growing in the hydroponic and aquaponic systems actually gets produced and actually gets finished off in here. They sell it in a farmer's market, but they actually sell it here. They have their own retail center right here.
Can you share with us a success story that may inspire our viewers?
There's this neighborhood in Tucson called the Las Vistas Coalition. It's in North Tucson. And they had a simple idea of building and starting their own aquaponics farm. So we had the distinct honor of building it for them. It's actually a 4-tier system. That 4-tier system has now gone on to provide fresh tilapia, fresh fish, as well as fresh produce for free for the elderly in the neighborhood for the last 4 years now. You can't put a price on health. If you're able to provide someone with fresh and healthy food, then you should do that.
What's your approach to competition specifically, and how do you differentiate yourself?
Competition is a part of the business standard, it's part of the business structure. But in sustainable gardening, my competition are my friends. I've literally learned from every single one of them, so I don't see it as competing. I'm literally growing with them. You never made enemies, all you did is make friends.
If you guys are serious about having your own 6-figure business, make sure to grab our free guide with 137 businesses across 17 different sectors. We break everything down from startup costs to revenue for each idea. Hit the link in the description below for your free copy. How has your business model changed since when you first started?
It seems like it was yesterday, but it's actually been like 8 to 10 years. We started off with produce, and we've switched more into consultation, into actual systems designs. It's led us from just working primarily in our backyard to now working on virtual projects and with folks in Saudi Arabia and people in Sudan, as well as in the South Sudan. We're doing a water reclamation project there.
They reached out to you?
Yes, they've reached out to me, and this is all in the last 2 or 3 years that it's really taken off. The produce side, it's not that it was small revenue, it was very, very reasonable, it was very respectable revenue. But when you get into the consultation side, now you're looking at upwards of $7,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month in consultation, side effort in systems designs. When we spoke earlier about some of the design systems like the living wall, we can't keep those in stock. We can't keep any of the systems in stock. As soon as they're built, as soon as we put them out there and we list them, they're gone.
It's pretty cool because you're compounding your vision, right, for aquaponics. Like you did it yourself, but you can only do so much. But when you go to consulting route, now you've got people doing what you wanted to do all over the world. What kind of marketing advice do you have for people that are specifically just getting started?
I know this is going to be a crazy one to believe, but you never know what your connections may bring you. So especially utilize social media contacts as much as you can. I have friends that I have in aquaponics that I met actually through my RC hobby. And these same friends, they're not doing aquaponics like me, but one of them just finished a TED Talk. One of them is an award-winning writer. And I got to meet him just by reaching out through RCs, bringing and drawing him back in through aquaponics. Now he's actually getting a system design. He's putting it out in his house.
What's an unexpected obstacle you had to overcome when it comes to selling to customers?
This is a hilarious one, convincing them that they're not eating fish poop because they've never seen this process. They're not aware of all of the science that's happening. But once you explain it to them, they're blown away by it.
So your family, you mentioned it more than a few times, has continued to play a big role in your business, which is amazing. How do you guys end up working together? How do you handle disagreements? Who's at the helm?
I love to say that the captain wears a hat, but that's an absolute lie. Wife is right all the time. Wife is right all the time. But when it comes to business concepts or ideas, it's an open format. Everyone can contribute, everyone can bring a little bit into it, and it's always good to have that partner in your life.
All right, so your energy is infectious. I'm curious, where does that come from? Share with us a little bit about your upbringing, maybe things that inspired you to do what you're doing today.
Well, that just puts the biggest smile on my face because I hope she's watching right now. If she is, hi, Mom. She gets total credit for everything that you see here. You see, my mom was raised in Virginia, and they had a gardening environment there. When they moved to Upstate New York, it wasn't much space. So they didn't have much of anything. They were not much money, not much anything, but they brought that gardening with them. My grandmother had this beautiful little garden patch, maybe about twice the size of this tray right here. And it was in her backyard. And it was spending those incredible moments with her, hands in the soil. And I would say, Mama, because I called her Mama, I'd say, Mama, I don't see anything growing. And she just gave me the biggest smile. And she said, well, I see it. It's growing right in front of my eyes. And I realized that was her planting that first seed so that together we would grow as a family, and it stuck with me. So that's even with the motto for our company, together we grow. Because you plant that first seed and that's what happens. We grow as a community, we grow as one.
Awesome, incredible story. Charles, where in the world are we standing? Looks like some kind of a track. I know it's not a garden, you guys, but I had to ask. So what's the story on this?
Well, everything in this yard, one way or another, is a garden. And on one side we may grow vegetables, but over here is where I get to grow my little childlike side, and I get to grow my little passion for RC cars. Nice. So, as you know, gardens do take time. Plants take time to grow, so in that downtime, if we're not developing new products, I'm literally out here just nurturing and just motivating my mind. And it's such a clean hobby. It's so much fun. It's for people of all ages. And even though I don't mind watching grass grow, it does take an awful long time, and there's nothing more fun than just watching something zoom through some mud, go over some rocks, and just be able to go in the house and just get right back to inventing again.
Well, besides RC cars, how else are you spending time when it's slower for the business, when things are just growing?
We do a lot of social media development. Say, for instance, on a given day, I'll get up at 5 a.m. There's not much to do in the garden because the garden's all self-sustaining. We only have to feed every 2 weeks. So instead of feeding the garden, I feed the social media content. But we're always out there trying to research because there's always something new to learn. When the plants are growing, you should be growing right along with them.
What's the hardest part about running this business, and what's the best part?
Similar answers. The hardest part, growing in the desert. The best part, growing in the desert. Sometimes the heat is your friend, sometimes it isn't. The success with sustainable gardening means you're able to accomplish things in this climate that just aren't possible in traditional gardening. When it's 107 degrees outside, your traditional garden is going to fail point blank because that's what plants do. But because you have control over such parameters such as root temperature, evaporation, wind, things of that nature in a sustainable controlled climate, you're able to grow where others aren't. So yeah, sometimes you're going to get that failure growing in a desert, but the immense satisfaction you get from success from growing in the desert, you really can't put a price on that.
Do you want more incredible business advice from entrepreneurs like Charles? Well, do us a huge favor, hit that like and subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. What's the smartest business move you've made so far? Can you share with us?
I sure can, and this is honestly from the heart. Involve your family and involve your community. I don't think anyone's supposed to do this on their own. I know I tried it for the longest, but as soon as I accepted that I need the help from my family, and always involve your community because that's where the true growth happens, that's when we really started to prosper. So family first and then community.
That's awesome. So you're saying that could apply to any business?
That can apply to any business, especially with the structure that we have. Because what is a garden but a community of plants that are growing together? And what is a community but a garden of people that are growing together?
That's awesome. If you lost everything tomorrow and you had to start all over with $100 to your name, what exact steps would you take?
I'd take $80 and I would put it in my savings. I'd take another $10, I'd go to the local pet store and I'd get 3 goldfish. I'd take another $3 or whatever it is that's left and I'd go get me maybe a 12-pack of water bottles. I'd drink the water, I'd cut the water bottles in half, flip the tops over, and I'd have myself a 12-station aquaponics farm. You got this. You turn garbage into treasure, trash into treasure. All we're doing is recycling. The same way that the plants are recycling the fish waste, we're recycling waste from normal traditional garbage. There is no waste in sustainable gardening.
How do you manage risk with perishable inventory? And then what is the perishable inventory, first of all?
In traditional gardening, perishable inventory would be a set percentage or given a set amount of plants that you would expect to not survive, either by pest or by natural damage. In sustainable gardening, we almost totally eliminated that. We have about a 98% success rate from seed all the way through maturity with every single plant.
Why is that?
Because we don't use soil. We avoid all pests and all bacteria or problems associated with traditional soil growth.
So the soil is the culprit in the sense when it comes to the perishable aspect of gardening.
Well, yeah, but that's always been part of the risk with it. That's another one of the joys of sustainable gardening. It's organic, so there are no pesticides used at all.
You don't need to spray, you don't need to
none whatsoever.
Do nothing.
We're actually benefiting because we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry so much about the risk. We can just plant more.
What's the biggest money mindset shift that you had to overcome going from employee to business owner?
Well, that was a hard pill for me to swallow when I actually realized this, and it's that time is money. You can't get time back, and that time invested in developing your business has to be time well spent. You can waste money, you cannot waste time, and that was the biggest thing, is realizing how much time I had wasted. So valuing my time, valuing my minutes, understanding that there's a monetary value with that time, and using my time more wisely, that was the biggest change.
How do you structure your day today as opposed to when you were first starting out? Anything important there that we can learn from?
There sure is. I'm so glad that I appreciated every minute and every countless hour that I put into developing these stations, because it's allowed me to have so much time to just relax, so much time to be with my family now. You would think that with all of these systems it'd be a lot more work, but that's the exact opposite. So I'll basically get up at 4:35 in the morning. So emails, everything business structure-wise, that's usually done by 9 a.m. I'm enjoying time with my family. I'm getting my runs in. I'm getting my exercise in. Just living a great life.
You're taking care of your health pretty seriously.
You have to. Wellness first, nutrition first, health first.
How has your relationship towards money changed since you started the business? Can you
Well, there's the hip-hop adage, more money, more problems. That's not really true with us. It's more money, more relaxation. It's just giving me more time to spend with my family. The one thing that I really do appreciate about a greater level of income is being able to invest in our kids, being able to invest back into the company, having that opportunity to finally be able to save. It changes everything. So guys, never give up.
What's one entrepreneurship myth that you actually believed that held you back?
And honestly, this one really did hurt. I always believed that my progress and my gains would be based on some type of initial huge seed money amount, like I needed a whole bunch of money in order to even put my thought to use, when it was the absolute truth. I did it with nothing. We had $0. And it held me back for years thinking that I'm not going to see this through fruition unless I have the money first. Well, I put the thought in the process first and the money came later. And I wish I would have known that in the beginning. I put a dollar sign on believing in myself. The idea doesn't come to life. It doesn't come to fruition unless you have it and unless you believe in it.
Awesome. Tell us what the difference is here, because we saw one at your house. There you feed the plants.
Yes.
Who's the feeder here?
Good question.
Guessing the fish.
Yes, at the house we use Master Blend, which is trace minerals and vitamins. Here, the primary source for the plants is actually fish poo. This is an aquaponics system.
You don't eat the fish. These are just for looks.
Exactly. We don't eat the fish in this system, although if you chose to, you could easily grow edible fish in this system.
Oh, wow.
The only differences would be water temperature, flow rate, oxygen rate, which you can emulate, you can duplicate any setting in nature in this aquaponics system.
And so their waste feeds the
absolutely
fish festival.
The fish poo comes through. This is a double filter system. So there's one system in there with a UV light in there that keeps this water nice and sparkling.
Yep.
The other filter is actually taking fish poo water, it's sending it through this filter. It then goes to the plant roots and it comes right back into the tank from here.
And this is how many days?
This
is just dirt, by the way.
Yep, that's just dirt on
bugs,
here.
Yeah.
These were actually put here on Saturday. So today's Wednesday.
Just a few more days.
Yeah, just a few days. This fish tank here can actually feed up to 240 plants.
Oh, wow. Do you see this business model as recession-proof? Why or why not?
I absolutely do, because this business model was the birth of the recession. This business model was the result of the pandemic. This business model was the result of, at one point, there was a government shutdown, and I was actually sent home from my job at Kitt Peak for an extended amount of time. So I had to make something that was recession-proof because a government job just wasn't. Those can come and go. Guess what always stays? Hunger. You need to eat. So feed them food. And people are always going to need to get away from some type of stress. So gardening, people always want an easier way to do it. So sustainable gardening, as we get older, our joints start to hurt and ache. So sustainable gardening where it's not painful to your body. We kept all of these in mind from 8 to 80. Recession proof, we have something for you.
If you enjoyed this episode, you have to check out episode 148 with Rain, who turned $200 into a 7-figure exotic fruit farm. Seriously, check it out. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode.